It's been fantastic to have these vaccines started to being administered in the United States, but there have been complaints about delays with how they've been administered or with long lines, confusion about how things should go. Where do you think we stand right now just in terms of how we're doing with that? And what are the plans that President-elect Biden has once he's in office?
That's right. So we are in the middle of this, very, very serious crisis. We have vaccines now that have been distributed, and only less than a fifth of those vaccines have actually been administered. A little bit over 2 million doses to date. This is just way too slow. We have to dramatically pick up the pace if we're going to vaccinate and use all these vaccines that we've been supporting over the last few months. We need to pick up to about 1 million vaccinations a day. The president-elect has made a commitment that he'd like to see 100 million doses within the first 100 days of his administration. And so we're going to have to really do a lot more to pick up the pace on these vaccinations. I'll point out that
what are the bottlenecks?
The states. Yeah, so I think that the main issue is that the CDC has been alerting to the fact that the states have not received adequate support to be able to really thoroughly engage in planning and mobilize to prepare for the vaccination program. I think that CVS and Walgreens have been doing a terrific effort to begin this rollout in long-term care facilities. They have hired vaccinators. They have, developed the logistics around a vaccination program. But after that, there are no significant plans by the Trump administration to really rely on them for more vaccinations, other than eventually, when supply is ample, to offer them in their vaccination clinics. There's need a lot more support for the states to be able to work with the private sector and also ramp up their own systems to be able to reach all Americans, all the population of people that really would like to be able to get a vaccine to get one. I get the idea of having states have some autonomy over vaccination, but that doesn't mean that we just drop a bunch of vaccines at their sites and let them deal with it. I mean, it doesn't really work unless everybody has access to a vaccine who wants one.
Well, let's talk about that. You're in favor of the states still having autonomy. So what will be different? Will there still be the states having the authority to do these things? Will there be a national plan? What specifically is needed? Is it funding for certain things? I don't understand where the problem is now or what will be different.
So, Beck, the government has put a lot of resources into developing the vaccines and manufacturing the vaccines. And then they turn around and says, well, it's going to be up to the states of how to do this. So I understand, that the federal government provides a tremendous amount of coordination and guidance and recommendations for how the vaccines are prioritized. That's great. And the states, for the most part, are going to follow ACIP recommendations, the CDC body that makes those recommendations. What I'm saying is that providing the states with some autonomy of how to best use the vaccines within their immediate needs does not mean that you leave them without meaningful support and logistic support to be able to actually carry out the implementation of vaccination to the American people. And that's what has happened, is that there's been resources applied to having the doses manufactured, but no minimal resources given to states to be able to carry out the vaccination program. So we're going to have to dramatically ramp up those efforts, the support to the states, so they can do their job and their part in vaccinating the population. They're going to continue to work, I'm sure, with CVS and Walgreens, but the whole system has to be ramped up. Right now, like I said, a little bit over 2 million doses have been distributed. We have vaccines sitting in warehouses that is not being used. The pace is so slow that at this current pace, it's going to take years to vaccinate the U.S. population. We can't afford to wait. We have no time to waste.
I know there were funds for vaccinations that were in this most recent care package that was passed. Are those funds enough to get to the states to do what they need?
Well, the president-elect has stated these funds are not sufficient. They are a down payment. The states have already made requests for what they need, and it's actually a lot more than what they're likely going to receive. So You know, it's not going to be all the efforts to produce safe and effective vaccines in record time will be for naught if we cannot speed up the process to get vaccines into people's arms.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.